Good morning. Can you hear me, Don?
Yes, can you hear me?
Good morning.
Sounds good.
Good morning.
I'm just getting things set up on the back end so I can sync it to Facebook, and then when we go live, I'm gonna tag both of you.
Okay. How are you feeling, Catherine?
Well, I had a fall yesterday, so my knee, my leg, I have a headache right now, so I won't be turning my screen on, but I will be a part of the conversation.
Okay, no problem. Because I was looking forward to coming down today.
I know.
I took off from teaching. I was excited. That was like my first networking event.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have many more. And actually on March the 26th, and Libra, I'm not even sure if I told you, outside of the DC one, March the 26th locally, we have a networking event, and it's from 12 to 3, and it's at the same location, the same address.
Okay.
So you're more than welcome to come, bring business cards. If it's anyone in your network that's local, they're able to come. There's no cover charge, and that's March the 26th. I'm actually going to plug that today also.
Okay, cool.
Okay, it's 9:28. I am about to hit the go live button. Are we ready visually?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Well, good morning, family. Good morning. Yes, you are tuned into Good Morning to the Leader in You. Today, it's going to be an absolute, another phenomenal show. You know, we got our Neo Soul Vibe kicking us off this morning. You know, we have our co-host with us, Dr. Leroy McKenzie. You know, we have another phenomenal guest, Miss Danya. I tell you the truth, so much has been going on since the last time we connected, from last week to this week. All positive things, forward movement. We hope also you have had positive things happening in your personal life, in your business, because it's all about growing and getting to the next level. Well, we say good morning to the leader in you. We say good morning to those things that's going to be unearthed on today as we flow into this podcast show. We say good morning to your possibilities. We say good morning to your business growth and development. We say good morning because we are about to go to the next level. Dr. Leroy McKenzie.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Catherine, I don't know if you can see this. I might have to stand.
Oh, you rep to Speak Life this morning. I know that's right.
I was like, let me put this on this morning. I was like, yeah, because we are about to, and that's what Good Morning to the Leader in You is all about. It's about speaking life into us as leaders, speaking life into us as entrepreneurs, speaking life to those who are taking and on this journey that we are on, and wanting to speak life, not into just ourselves, but speaking life into others. So that's what we do. The guests that we have, they come on and they do the same. They have the same mission. They have the same mindset. And that's why we have them here. That's why we enjoy doing this so much, because our purpose and mission is to bring you those individuals that we know are speaking life not only into their businesses, but also speaking life into the community, and just here to be able to help us to be able to bring hopefully some knowledge, some information, some resources to you that will speak life into you, that will give you a mindset that will start your day off. And as Catherine says all the time, give purpose to your day, give an assignment for today, for your day. And that's what we're here. Hopefully you'll be able to do on this Tuesday, as we come every Tuesday, to be able to give you an assignment, give your day an assignment today. And today is no different than any other that we have or that we come to on Tuesday. So we just want to speak life. We want to actually get your mindset moving in that direction that you want to have it moving in, that will allow you to be able to be who it is that God has created you to be. So this morning is going to be no different, Captain. And we have a great young lady that is here that is going to be able to, is just doing some phenomenal things. So I can't wait to have this conversation with her and to be able to get into what it is that we're going to be talking about today. Captain, did you want to have say anything else before we introduce her?
Yes, listen, we thank everybody for plugging in and tuning in every Tuesday morning at 9:30 a.m. Listen, as you know, this is March Madness. We are marching forward into the direction of our dreams. We're marching forward into the directions of our goals. And you know what? The best is yet to come. And I say that even anyone that's watching now or going to be listening to this show later, just via audio, whatever you may be dealing with, whatever you may be facing in your business or as a leader, as you're growing in your leadership capacity, know that the best is yet to come. And any challenges that we face is only to make us stronger. Listen, I had a stumble, a fumble on yesterday, literally on my way to a meeting. But you know what? I am going to bounce back from every stumble, bounce back from every situation. And that's what you're going to do as well. So look at the situation in your life that came in a boomerang. Unexpected things are going to happen. But when those unexpected things happen, know that you can bounce back and you can push forward through it all. I'm going to allow Dr. Leroy McKenzie to introduce our guest formally. But listen, I want y'all to tune in. I want y'all to share this video because the woman that's speaking today is a powerhouse. And we know it's what? International Women's Day, right? So we want to give that plug and a shout out to all the women that's out there that's doing their thing. Back to you, Dr. Leroy McKenzie.
I love it. I love it, Catherine. I love what you said, the bounce back, the bounce back, the bounce back, the bounce back. And we want everyone to understand that even though we get knocked down, it's not even about getting knocked down. It has nothing to do with being knocked down. It's about, can you bounce back and get back up? That's the thing. That's the thing. Can you get back up? Because it's not about falling down. It's if you choose to stay down. Those that choose to stay down are those that come to understand that let their mindset or get encompassed by what it is that knocked them down. But those that choose to get back up, say, hey, I might have gotten knocked down. You might have knocked me down, or this might have knocked me down. But I refuse to stay down. I refuse to stay down. So our mindset today, that bounce back women's, what would you say, Kat? Is it one international?
Women's International, yes.
Yeah, and I saw Secretary of State Hillary Clinton this morning. She was really good on the morning show that I was watching, and I thought it was great that everyone has been talking about there. And we do have a phenomenal guest that we want to introduce, and I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to read this resume, young lady, because is this? I'm in my big red voice from the Five Heartbeats. Is there anything that you don't do? So what I want to do is I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us just a little bit about who she is. And then what she's doing, and then we'll get into this great conversation that we're going to be having today, just about Women's International Day, bouncing back, the mindset that you need in order to be able to be the great leader that you've been called to be. And that's none other than Miss Diane Zimmerman. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Leroy and Catherine. Thank you so much for having me on today. I was just so excited. I was looking forward to coming in, but things happen. And thank goodness for technology where you can still do stuff even in person or virtually. And
yes, today is going to be so powerful, and we're so glad that you're on here because all of our listeners that's tuning in, they are waiting to hear those golden nuggets from you, because I consider those golden nuggets are things that we can take in our life, apply to our life, but most importantly, implement.
Exactly. And my name is Diane Zimmerman. My alter ego is the Powerful Biz Woman. And I'm the co-founder of the Ultimate Biz Consultants. And our mission is to educate aspiring entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs, and business owners on the importance of legally and financially protecting your your business assets, because there are a lot of businesses out there that are doing business, but they're not legally set up or financially set up to avoid possible closure, avoid possible bankruptcy. And that's our mission, because a lot of people start a business, but they don't understand the legal and financial aspects of being in business, of being a business owner. And that's what the Ultimate Biz Consultants focus on. And this is a topic that a lot of people do not like to talk about. They want you to talk about how much money they can make in a month, how many clients, how many referrals they can get. But when it comes to the legal structure and financial structure of their business, they do not want to talk about that. This is a hard topic to sell to, aspiring entrepreneurs, business owners. It's a really hard topic to sell until something personally happens to them, and that's when they want to come to you and talk to you. So that's what we focus on. We try to get that aspiring entrepreneur before anything, the what ifs may happen from a legal and financial standpoint. And if you want more information, you can go to www.ultimatebizconference.com. And I'm also an educator. I love to substitute teach. I love working with young people because they keep you motivated. They keep you, driven. They give you that energy. As an older person, as I'm getting older, being around young people keeps me energized to keep doing what I'm doing. And that's what I love. But I'm very passionate about educating business owners, entrepreneurs, on how to cover their business assets, how to bankrupt proof their biz, and how to make sure that business is built on a strong legal and financial foundation.
Now, I want to start by piggyback and offer something that you said. You said it's often difficult to get entrepreneurs to understand and to do what it is as far as protecting their assets. Why do you think that it's so? Why do you think that that's a difficult task for entrepreneurs to understand and the importance of it? Have you found?
Because in general, I think when you're talking about anything legal, people get scared, people get nervous, because I was an attorney for 15 years and we were taught how to litigate in court, but we weren't taught how the business part of being in business. Mm-hmm. The only thing that they taught us from a legal standpoint was get professional liability insurance to cover your assets. That was it. And people really had, back then, I'm talking about 20 years ago, they didn't really focus on the legal aspects of being a business. And so unfortunately for me, I had to close my law practice because I didn't have Diane Zimmerman now. If I would have had Diane Zimmerman as a business consultant, then I would still be a practicing attorney. But I didn't understand it. I didn't want to understand. And a lot of people are afraid. When you say lawyer, people get nervous. They get afraid. When you say legal, they just afraid. And I don't know why, people are afraid of the unknown. And it's not something that is unknown. Lawyers are not here to scare you. Lawyers are here to assist you with legal matters. A lawyer would rather you come to them before something happens, so that they can prepare you, so that they can get you ready for whatever may happen. But people wait until the last minute to get a lawyer, and then they get upset and say, oh, he cost me $10,000. But if you would have came to that lawyer before that client sued you and got all the legal paperwork you needed, legal documents, built your legal foundation, you would not be in this position. I always tell them, compare spending just $1,500 and getting your legal foundation ready compared to not having a legal foundation and having to protect yourself and paying a lawyer $10,000 to defend you against a lawsuit. And I can't fathom why business owners are afraid to talk about the legal and financial parts of being in business. It just blows my mind. It just baffles me. And I really don't have an answer to that, Leroy.
No, I think because honestly, I think it's not sexy. When you talk about legal stuff. It's like, oh, the language and it doesn't it doesn't lend to people. Oh, I gotta dig into. It's just like an accountant, which is something that we talk about too. The financial aspect of your businesses. It's numbers. So people aren't readily and ready to talk about those numbers. What's the everyday rigmarole of a business? The legal aspect of a business is something that, hey, okay, yeah, all right, I'll get to it. It'll be there, but then they don't have the knowledge, like you said, the knowledge and understanding of certain things. So it's when something does happen, it's like, well, I didn't know. Well, did you take the time to learn and to understand it? And when you have, and I know we'll probably get into this, when you have that that lawyer and that accountant on your team, they can make you aware of things that are going on, because a lot of entrepreneurs aren't readily versed in the laws that are coming down the pipe, or that are happening in their particular industry. So the a lawyer is able to let the entrepreneur know, hey, the laws in our state are about to change, or they have changed. This is what you need to do, or this is what we need to do in order to be able to have our business kind of adjust to what's been going on. And that's been proven time and time again. I mean, we think about what happened, what we've been dealing with the last 2 years with the pandemic. A lot of businesses, of course, none of us were prepared for a pandemic, but there were some that were more prepared than others because of what they were doing in their everyday business. So they didn't have to, try and shuffle and put stuff together in order to be able to get the loans that were out there. They didn't have to do certain things because they were already doing what it is that needed to be done in order to be prepared to submit paperwork and all of those things. And as a result, they kind of had to learn. Some others have had to learn about that. So to me, I think that's part of what it is, in regards to that. So, Catherine, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Definitely want to add to that. I want to give a quick shout out though for some business owners that are tuning in. We want to give a shout out to author Angelina, tuning in, I believe, from the Texas area. And then we want to give a shout out to Ronnie Francois. He helps individuals on the personal and business side as it relates to establishing credit. For those that are tuning in right now, if you do represent a business, feel free to put your business information in the live chat feed on Facebook as we continue to network statewide with other leaders, other business owners in the community. But yeah, I think it's so key and so important when it comes to business development to have the foundation laid for long-term just maintenance. I think a lot of times we see businesses sometimes open up and then they close their doors. Why is that? Because a lot of times their business affairs was not in order. Like right now, I know in the Maryland area and most areas, it is time to do your annual reports, right? It's time to do your annual reports. Are we doing that right now? Because see, here's the thing. If several years go by, specifically 3, I know for the Maryland area, you will not be in positive status with the Maryland Business Express. Same thing in Florida. Have clients in Florida, have clients in DC. If it's DC, it's normally biannual report. So whatever state you may be in, you need to know, is it annual, is it biannual? Because different states have different requirements. So, for those that's tuning in now, depending on what state you're in, you need to find out what the requirements are for your particular state. If you have a 501c3 nonprofit organization, well, every year, this is a time also that you have to submit your 990s. So I think the conversation about making sure you have your business affairs in order is key for longevity of your business growth and development. So I agree with everything that's been said.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, Daniel, let me ask you this: with with your company, the Banco Fruit Biz, tell us a little bit about what you all do, and then the products and services that you offer for potential clients.
Well, basically what we do, we try to gear towards aspiring entrepreneurs, those people that have that business idea, they kind of stepping their foot into the business waters. And what we try to do is we try to give them the tools, resources, and connections they need to make sure that their business is legally and financially sound. You know, we help them figure out what business entity would be best for them. And then what we also do is we advise them to go to an attorney and go to accountant like a tax professional to see which business entity would be sound for them from a tax perspective and from a legal perspective. We don't just help clients fill out the paperwork and then send them on their merry way. You know, if a client comes to us and say, hey, I need your help filling out, you know, my business entity with the state, we'll look at the paperwork. And then what we'll do is we'll advise them and say, you know, what is your mission? What is your purpose? You know, do you plan to have a board of directors? And then we'll tell them, well, if you choose LLC, this is the ramifications if you choose S Corp corporation. And then what we do is we have, like Charles C. Frazier said, Dr. Frazier said, Mr. Frazier said, he said, have a Rolodex of networking connections. And we will refer them to a lawyer and say, hey, before you file this, I need you to go speak to this lawyer to see if an LLC is good for you, or will an S Corp or a corporation be good for you? And I need you to talk to a tax professional to see what are the tax ramifications of, you know, forming, you know, creating this particular business entity. Because we not only help them fill out the paperwork, we help them build their business dream team. We know bankers, we know lawyers, we know financial and tax professionals, we know coaches, because we get a lot of clients who have a lot of mess in their personal life. So what we'll do is, before I can work with you, you got a lot going on. Let's refer you to this life coach or this counselor. So we deal with all aspects of business ownership, because once you become a business owner, that becomes part of your life. You know, being a business owner is part of your life. It's not just making money. It's not just about clients. It's about longevity. And you got to realize when you're planning out, how long do you plan to be in business? That's another thing we discussed. Do you want to do this for 15, 20 years? Do you have an exit strategy? Do you have a retirement plan? Do you have a succession plan? Do you plan for your kids to take over your business? Do you have a niece or nephew, a family member or a friend? Or do you plan to sell your business? So a lot of business owners need to start thinking about this. This is what is important about building a strong foundation legally and financially for your business. You know, if you think about Walmart, you know, Walmart has been around for years. Think about McDonald's. McDonald's outlived its creator. You know, Wendy's has outlived Dave. Remember Dave, the doctor? He was, you know, Wendy's dad. He's no longer here, but Wendy's is here. And I want to give you another example. You may have heard in the entertainment world that Morris Day and the Time can no longer use their name. Can you imagine your birth name? You can no longer use your birth name because Prince estate said stop using Morris Day and the Time. And if Morris Day would have thought back then and had a good business consultant, they would have told him, you need to speak to an attorney to trademark and copyright your name. You know, that's what happened to Jackson 5. When they left Motown, they could not use the name Jackson 5. They had to go by the Jacksons because they signed over their rights to the Jackson 5 name. And this is a prime example. We have known Morris Day and the Time for almost 50 years. And this is his birth name. This is not like a name he made up. So you mean to tell me I cannot use my birth name that my mother and father gave me? And my attorney friend, LaConya Murray, she was talking about this on one of her TikTok videos. And I sent her a message and I said, hey, are you going to go deeper into this? She said, Diane, I'm going to do some more research to see what's going on. So that's why it's important for you to have an attorney on your business dream team. So when you are creating these names for your business, you need to trademark your stuff. You need to trademark your birth name. I learned from Morris Day and the Time, I may need to trademark Diane Zimmerman, because you never know, somebody will steal your identity. Because I can't imagine, I've been known as Morris Day and the Time, I can't use my name, my birth name.
Well, see,
And that's what people know us. That's how we know them. That's Morris Day in the time.
but here's my question with dealing with that in particular. That's not his name. Isn't Morris Day in the time? His name is, I don't know what his actual legal name is. Now that's his entertainment, group was Morris Day in the time. But correct me if I'm wrong. Prince was the one that created them, right?
Yes, but Morris Day, they were high school classmates. They created it together. And it was a mutual understanding. Prince never told him you can't use. They created this together. A lot of people make that mistake.
Right.
It wasn't like Prince just got Morris Day and said, hey, I have this band. No, Prince and Morris Day were friends in high school. And they created this band together. A lot of people don't know that a lot of things that Prince did, a lot of his friends like Morris Day gave him ideas.
Right.
Because I listened to Morris Day on a couple of interviews, and it's a lot of things that like Apollonia 6 and Vanity 6, Morris Day helped Prince with those. They were partners, they were friends since high school, and they came up with this band together. And it baffles my mind because I thought that he had this stuff trademarked. But that proves you sitting up here doing business with this particular name, and you don't trademark. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to trademark everything. I have some things trademarked, but it's time to trademark everything. And I'm advising people, get with an attorney and look at what you have, what you are known for, what your business brand is known for. This is a prime example of why it is important to trademark, because someone can come behind you. I had a client that I referred to an attorney. She was doing business with her hair. She was a hairdresser. She was in the United States doing business here. And she didn't trademark her brand. And then there was a hairdresser in Canada that stole her whole brand. But the thing was, that Canadian hairdresser trademarked everything. So when this young lady tried to get a cease and desist order, the judge let her know, I'm sorry, but they trademarked this. And she had to create a whole new brand for herself.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing that because Prince thought enough to go ahead and trademark it. I'm quite sure he owns the rights to Morris Day in the time, and that's why they can't use it. Now, yes, Prince should have had a conversation with Morris, or Morris should have been, hey, dude, with the whatever contract that they had. But it does go to show you how important it is to protect your asset. The same thing happened with the McDonald's brothers. Most people, when they don't know that story about I tell every entrepreneur it is a must watch, is the movie called The Founder. And it is the story of Ray Kroc, who is, I give him credit. He's the one that took McDonald's he took it international. It is what it is today because of Ray Kroc. I can't deny that. But he actually did exactly what you said, almost similar to what Prince did to Morris Day. He took the McDonald's name and he stole the business virtually from up under the McDonald's brothers. And they in turn also, they couldn't even use their name on their McDonald's restaurant that was the original one. They had to take down the arches because of what Ray Kroc had done with them in their business. So it is vitally important that you pay attention and that you ask questions, especially when it comes to partnerships, especially when it comes to collaboration, because you got to make sure that you're protected, and then that other person should be making sure that they're protected as well. The thing. So I just, it's really important, because you can wind up like Morris Day, and he probably gets none of those royalties from Morris Day in the time. None of it. Catherine, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. I want to first give a shout out to Again, author Angelia, I believe she's in the Texas area. She made a comment as the conversation is flowing that this is great information. And we thank everybody for tuning in now, or that's going to be watching later. It's definitely great information. And I concur with what was just being talked about. I personally have retained an attorney for my trademark for another business that I have. And in that process, they had discovered there was another company in another state trying to cop my same brand, same everything. Fortunately, I won the case, obviously, because I had more than enough documentation that I was the originator, you know, of that particular brand. But it is very key. I am definitely in agreement with what's being said. You need to retaining an attorney as far as trademark. And again, it's a difference between just trade name in your local state and trademark in all 50 states. There is a difference. And you need to understand that difference and seek out for the professional that can explain it to make sure your application and everything that's being submitted is done appropriately. But and because that's why I say I'm sharing my personal story, because it literally happened to me. My brand could have been taken away, but luckily I had enough documentation. I think that's where it goes back to, are you documenting what you do with your business properly? So when you are working with an attorney, you're able to supply that attorney with enough documentation that they have arsenal to work with. You know, you got to give the attorney tools as well so they can do what they do professionally. And so I had enough documentation of what we've been doing in the community. So it worked in my favor. So document everything you do. Document everything you do. My organization, we had third-party validation. We was on the news. We had article write-ups. So we had so much documentation. It was undeniable as to who started that particular brand. And so, Ms. Diane, talk to the entrepreneur about the mindset of an entrepreneur. You know, as we grow, as we build, there's a shift. And I think you talked about it a few minutes ago when you talked about the personal development side. So let's kind of tap into that part of the conversation. When you're growing and developing as an entrepreneur, what type of mindset do we need to have?
And before we do that, when you say documentation, in the legal field, we call that CYA, cover your assets.
There it is.
That's what it is, cover your assets. But we say another word, but I say assets documentation. Yes. So absolutely. That's CYA documentation. And for me, you got to stop thinking like an employee and think like an employer. Like, for example, this morning, I don't share all my business. When it comes to my business, I don't share all my information with my family. So my dad was like, oh, you're not going to the substitute job today? I said, no, I have an interview. Oh, are you going after the interview? I said, no, after the interview, I'm going to work on my business. So you need to have that mindset. You need to realize that you are no longer an employee, you are the employer. And a lot of entrepreneurs are still in that employee mindset. They think that they have an employer who's going to deal with the payroll taxes, who's going to deal with, the IRS issues and the legal issue. They don't realize that they are the CEO now. They are the boss. They are the leader. And once you start thinking like that, you make moves as a leader, as an employee, as a boss. And it took me a long time to get out of that employee mindset. It took me a long time to stop allowing my business to sit on the back burner, because Leroy will tell you, I have grown since I worked with him. He's my business advisor. I have grown. I've done more with him in the past, I say 8 months, than I did in the 5 years with my business partner. I really have changed my mindset. I really have realized that I have to make decisions that will make my business grow, so that my business can be financially sustainable, where it can financially sustain itself and sustain my personal expenses as well. Pay for business expenses and personal expenses. And you have to change that mindset. You are no longer the employee, you are the employer. And even if you are still working your 9 to 5, use that 9 to 5 tool. Look at what your employer does. Look at what the managers do in your business. Use them as an example and use that example in your business. But you got to start thinking like an employer. Start thinking like the CEO. If you want to create a certain lifestyle, using your business for yourself. You got to be the CEO of your own lifestyle and don't allow other people to dictate your time. And I think a lot of times as newbie entrepreneurs, where we've been in business for less than 10 years, we allow other people to dictate our time. You got to stop that. Dictate your own time. Create a schedule. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs who are still working a 9 to 5, but they are doing some amazing stuff in their business when it comes to their business. And I celebrate them when they say, well, at the 15 years at this, I'm finally going full-time in my business, but they were already full-time in their business. Even though they were working a 9 to 5, they were working full-time in their business as an employer. So you got to create that employer mindset and get rid of that employee mindset.
Let me tell you something, Danya, before you interject, Leroy. I mean, that I think of the points that you shared is spot on. I think my golden nugget that I took away from what you just said was about shifting your mindset from the employee to the employer. And when you shift that mindset, you operate differently. And that's what I took away. I call it golden nuggets when I hear someone speak and share what can I take away and what can I implement. And it's that shifting your mindset to know that you are the CEO. And once that clicks in your head, you will operate differently. Dr. Leroy.
No, I would pick up on that too, Catherine, but I love it, being the CEO of your lifestyle and understanding what that means and what that takes. Now, I want to ask you this, and it goes right into what we were talking about as far as mindset. And we focused on our clubhouse, Banquet Proof Your Biz Clubhouse events that we had. We've been talking about knowing your numbers and the mindset, and it goes into what you were saying, being the CEO and understanding who you are as an employee and as an employer. Can you talk a little bit about that, the importance of knowing your numbers when it comes to having the entrepreneur mindset and how important that is?
Well, for me is, like I said, you got to visualize yourself as the employer when it comes to the numbers. And that's why it's important for you to get with a financial expert and tax expert. And when I talk about tax expert, you have your accountant, bookkeeper, and IRS enrolled agent. And a lot of people don't know what an IRS enrolled agent is. It is an accountant or financial expert who can represent you with the IRS. I call them the legal defense when it comes to the IRS. When you're dealing with an IRS enrolled agent, say, for example, the IRS, you do your taxes for 2021, and there's like, you wrote a number, a discrepancy. And the IRS says, hey, we need to audit you. We need you to come in for an appointment. What an IRS enrolled agent can do is you give them power of attorney over your taxes, where they can represent you. And the reason why you would want an IRS enrolled agent is because they know that the tax laws. They have been dealing with the IRS agents, the Internal Revenue Service. This is what they do. And I would rather pay a professional to help me deal with the Internal Revenue Service than try to do it on my own. I'd rather spend that money on that than spend it on something else. And so you got to get with a tax professional, like an accountant, IRS enrolled agent, and a bookkeeper, so that they can explain to you what deductions, what tax withdrawals you have to make, like payroll tax, Social Security tax, Medicare, FICA. Never knew what FICA is until my tax professional told me, because you're going to have to make sure you have all those deductions ready to deduct, especially if you plan to hire employees. Even if you do independent contractors, 1099, you need to get with a tax professional and get with a financial expert to understand what is the thin line between a 1099 independent contractor and an employee. Because there are a lot of people out there who will say, oh, they are independent contractors, so they have to withdraw their own taxes. And they in that thin line where it may have been a 1099 independent contractor, but then that individual has become an employee. So you are responsible for, withdrawing the taxes and the deductions from their payroll. So that's why it's very important for you to speak with a tax professional and a financial expert to understand that thin line, because someone will start out as a 1099 independent contractor working for you, and then for some reason you give them more duties, you give them more hours, they go from an independent contractor to an employee. So that's why I always advise individuals to talk to a lawyer and talk to a tax professional.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's vital. It's vital because you can't keep those doors open if you don't make sure that your finances are in order for your business. And then you don't have the right mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, you will not go far. It's just like your health. If you don't have your health, you can't. There's very little that you can do without your health. Very little that you can do. And I think this is just such a rich conversation, because we have to understand how to protect our assets, how to protect our businesses. Because like we said, most businesses within that first 5 years, the success rate is very low. Very low. And when you have individuals and businesses such as Danya and the Ultimate Biz conversation, and Bankrupt Proof Your Biz, when you have them out there, you have to utilize these types of resources that you have, so that you can begin to learn. And then even if you are someone who's been in business for some years, there's still more that you can always learn, because things are always shifting, things are always changing. So the more knowledge, you should always be acquiring knowledge, because the more you learn, the more successful that you can be, and the less you will have to worry about something happening and you not be prepared, because things are going to happen. I'm always the adage that things are going to happen. It's just a question of whether or not you're going to be prepared for them. Are you going to be prepared for them, or how are you going to be prepared for them? And when you speak with a Diane Zimmerman, when you speak with a Catherine Trotter, they prepare you for those obstacles that come in your way. They prepare you for those falls that come, so that you can bounce back, so that you can get back up, and so that you can move forward even after the bounce back. Even so that you can move forward and you can move beyond what it is that you might not have known about. And you take those experiences as learning opportunities to be able to grow from, because all of us could tell you stories about different things that have happened to us from a business perspective. But the question is we're still here. We're still here because we chose to have the right mindset, but then we also chose to learn from what it was that has happened to us. And then we also chose to say, you know what, I'm not going to let this keep me down. I'm going to move forward. So Catherine, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah, I want to pick up on what you were just talking about, the power of the bounce back, and actually just put that in the chat feed, because I think it's something significant to be said about the power of the bounce back. Myself included, have gone through different transitions in my business. And the only reason why I am still standing and my business is still standing is because I embrace the power of the bounce back. If we all be truthful and honest, when we're building a business, there's going to be peaks and valleys, there's going to be detours. But one of the things that I've always learned through every detour I face, it was a detour literally yesterday on the start of a new project. And I did not allow that to hinder me. I was talking to someone and they said, well, why did you even proceed to go forward with the meeting? So I said, because I had already gave my commitment, right? When you commit to something, you continue to do it. And then number two, I wasn't going to fall to the prey of the situation. And I think for those business owners that's watching now or going to watch later, as you continue to build your business, don't fall prey to the challenge. Allow that challenge to build you up. Allow that challenge to be your stepping stone. Allow that challenge to teach you wisdom, because in every situation that I have went through in building my business, I've grown in my level of wisdom. And wisdom, sometimes you can read all the business books in the world, but at the end of the day, certain things only wisdom can teach you. And in those wisdom moments, I like to call it, it only happens when you go through detours. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So when we say good morning to the leader in you, we also say good morning to grow in another level of maturity. Maturity meaning when you hit a brick wall, or when you hit a mountain, when you hit that challenge, you say to yourself, you know what, the leader in me is going to rise up and I'm going to move forward. But also the leader in me is going to assess this situation. Because sometimes we put ourselves in situations. We got to assess the situation, look at the man in the mirror, woman in the mirror. Why am I in this situation in my business, right? Why did this detour happen in my business? Once you dissect the why, then you put new strategies in place so you can move forward. But the power of the bounce back is something that we have to embrace and not get stuck. When we think about a body of water, if we're around a body of water that's stagnant, like a river or a stream or whatever, if it's stagnant in that specific stagnant area, it's a foul smell. You know why? Because there's no forward movement. And that's how it is sometimes in our business. It's a foul smell because there's no forward movement. And it goes back to what Miss Donnie was saying. We don't have our foundation. We don't have the structure. If you don't have the foundation or the structure in place, there's no way you can flow like a stream of water with your business. So I just encourage everybody watching now, watching later, that if you've gone through any detours, if you've gone through any challenging moment, today we're saying bounce back from that situation. Danya, what are some tips and tools you can give to a business owner that may have hit a brick wall? How can they bounce back from challenging moments while they're building their business?
Well, for me, it's create some daily affirmations for yourself. Write those affirmations down and repeat them to yourself every day. Create a motivation plan. Create a plan that when you have those down days, you can go to that motivational plan and take the steps necessary, and be consistent and strategic in every step that you make when it comes to your business. Because for me, I had to learn that consistency is important as an entrepreneur. Consistency and follow-up is also important. When you say you're going to do something, do it. You know, set a plan for yourself, you know, and set a realistic plan. Don't tell someone that, oh, if they ask you for some documents on Tuesday, tell them, oh, I'm gonna have it to you Thursday. Give yourself at least a week to get that task done, and be realistic. But the key is keep yourself motivated, daily affirmations, motivational plan, and be consistent in everything you do. And if you have to take a time out, take a time out, because a lot of times with entrepreneurs, we refuse to take a time out. Like last year, you know, I had to take a time out to get my mind back on track to start the new year. And when I took that time out, I didn't feel guilty. After speaking with my accountability group, they said, Diane, why you feel guilty? Because you had to take that time out. If you kept going and going, you would have been worse off than you are right now. It's okay to take a time out from your business. It's okay to, you know, to just take time and breathe and live. And another important thing is stop trying to wear all the hats in your business. Like when I reached out to Libra, I said, Libra, I need a business advisor. I need help. You know, don't be afraid to ask for help, and outsource certain stuff when it comes to your business. The menial tasks, give that to a virtual assistant. Virtual assistants are wonderful, and a lot of virtual assistants do not charge a lot of money. You know, you give them a retainer and they'll work from that retainer, and they'll let you know when to replenish that retainer. So these are some of the tips that I've had to teach myself, and I think they're very valuable for an entrepreneur during their entrepreneurship journey.
Absolutely. And we have Miss Angelia, she said, don't be afraid to take that hit, get up and keep moving forward. And then as you were speaking, Danya, she also commented in agreement to what you were saying. She said, yes, hold yourself accountable. So, yeah. Dr. Leroy.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely have to, definitely have to hold yourself accountable, but you hold yourself accountable by making sure that your business is on a firm foundation, and that you cover your business assets, and that you make sure that it is bankrupt proof. And when I hear bankrupt proof, what I think about is making sure that your business is flowing in such a way, like you were saying, Captain, that it has a constant and consistent flow to it, so that it keeps moving, and you have those things around you that protect it, so that if something does happen, because like I said, things are gonna happen. I promise you, there's not one business that is in business, Fortune 500 company, that has not had something happen to. I promise you. But the difference is are you prepared for what can happen? And that's what Bankrupt Proof Your Business does. It prepares you for those things when they do happen. You're in the position to handle when something does happen. So that's the important thing, hopefully, that everyone pulls from this today. Being prepared. The ultimate biz conversation, Bankrupt Proof Your Biz, what they do is just prepare you. They prepare you by making sure that you have the proper people around you, talking about your dream team, having that team around you. I call it your circle of impact, having those people around you that are able, that have the knowledge, information, resources to be able to give to you to make your business as successful as possible as it can be. So, Kathy, I want you to talk a little bit more, if you can, about the March Madness, because I know
Okay.
you've been focusing on that all week. So I want you to
Yes.
talk a little bit about that before we get out of here.
Okay, so March Madness is marching into the directions of your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, but it's also marching with purpose. And so for those that follow me or have received any coaching from me, know that I always say give your day an assignment, right? And so today is March the 8th. So I want us to think about the past 7 days. What have we been able to accomplish since last week, right? We did this show last week. So from last week to this week, what have you been able to accomplish? If we say, well, I'm still marinating on what my vision, I'm still marinating on, but I haven't really done anything yet. That marinating on the idea is not going to turn it into reality, right? And again, I'm not saying it shouldn't be time where we think and we process what we're going to do, but there has to come a time where we go to action. So this month of March, when we say March Madness, we know I didn't come up with that term. That's a term been out for a while, but you know why I'm gleaming on that term is because in this month, if we give every single day an assignment, we will see our goals and our dreams manifest itself. So today is the 8th. So let's say the past 7 days, you may not have specifically done anything. Let me give some examples. So have you done your basics? Like I started to say Dr. Danya, well, maybe it's coming up. Danya was saying, are you in good standing with the state and federal? Let's go back to the basics. Let's start there first. Now, if you can check those off the list, okay, well, if you have a website, is your website outdated? Is it updated? Your marketing materials, your social media pages, right? There's certain fundamental things we have to put in place before we can even ask for clients to retain us for whatever amount you're requesting for. Because if you're going to ask someone to pay a certain amount, you have to be bringing value to the table. That's my philosophy with any client I work with. If I'm going to ask for something or a certain dollar amount, I better be bringing value to the table. And if you're asking for someone for your business, whether it's a product and or service, what value exchange is happening, right? So it's supposed to be some type of an exchange. So when we say March Madness, what type of exchanges are taking place? What type of new introductions for your business are you making happen this month? One of the things that I always do, I don't let a week go by and I not introduce my business to someone that knows nothing about me and nothing about my business. How can you do that? Well, we got beautiful technology, Zoom. I have several meetups planned this week on Zoom to introduce my business, and they're going to share their business with me. What we're doing an exchange, right? It's motion, it's activity, but it's planned activity. I'm not just kind of waking up one morning trying to see what's going to stick. You need to have a schedule. So if we say we're going to march into March Madness, what does your schedule look like? One of the things that I've always said to myself, because I don't say anything to anyone else, I'm not doing myself. If I want certain goals and dreams to manifest by the end of this month, it's going to be based on what I do every single day. And if at the end of this month, I don't hit the financial goal, I don't hit my marketing goal, I don't hit my branding goal, if I don't hit any of those goals, I can't blame nobody but my schedule. Catch that. I can't blame nobody but my schedule, because my schedule is going to dictate my outcome. Right now, you do need to factor in downtime, relax time. For me, I love going to nature spots. It's just anything nature is just very common. It's my away space. So you got to build in also your downtime so you can refuel yourself. You got to build in your marketing days, your branding days, your days where you're going to meet with your clients, right? If you give your day an assignment, I'm telling you, at the end of this month, you're going to see the results that you want to see. It's only going to happen based on what your schedule looks like. So we can no longer say, you know, it's because so-and-so didn't support me, I didn't get to where I needed to be. Because I hear that a lot of times when it comes to business. I'm not where I need to be because of XYZ. I beg to differ. My thing is, and this is me, I point the finger even at myself. If I don't be where I want to be, I got to point the finger at my schedule. So as we get ready to wrap up this show, and we want Diane to also to plug her contact information and social media handles. If you're going to get to where you want to get to by the end of this month, point the fingers at your schedule and you'll see a difference. I do want to make some announcements. Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. PST time. I have a business partner I'm collaborating with in the California area. Tonight at 7 p.m. we have a webinar. It's called Grant Myth Busters. There's a lot of myths out there about how you can get a grant. What's the process to get a grant? How do you prepare for a grant? Some think just because you have the 501c3 money just going to automatically rain from the sky. And so I have an expert in this field. This is all she does. This is her field of expertise is grant writing. So tonight is the Grant Myth Busters. Tonight at 7 p.m. If you want more information, or if you want to get that Zoom information, send me an email, ct@catherinetrotter.com. Then on March the 19th, for those that are members of the network, we will be at the St. Regis Hotel in DC. Again, this is for members. If you want to learn about how you can become a member, send me an email. We will be at the St. Regis Hotel for a networking event on March the 19th. Then we have a public networking event back in the Baltimore area on March the 26th at the Cobalt Workspace, and that's kicking off at 12 noon. So again, that is open to any that would like to attend. That is March the 26th at 12 noon at Cobalt Workspace. Again, follow me on all of my social media handles, CTR Strategy Solutions on Facebook and Instagram. My website is simply CatherineTrotter.com, Catherine with a C. And Danya, please plug your contact information.
If you need to contact me, you can go to www.ultimatebizconference.com, hit the contact bar, and let us know what you need help. And we normally give a 20-minute bankrupt proof your biz strategy session to see where are the legal, the weak spots in your legal and financial foundation. We are also on Clubhouse under the Bankrupt Proof Your Biz Club. And I'm also with my coach, Wendy Y. Bailey, in her Profitable Coaching Clubhouse. I do that every Tuesday, where I give a class every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And then I have the Ultimate Business Conversation that is on LinkedIn, YouTube, and the Ultimate Biz Leaders Facebook page. That's every Wednesday at 8. And then me and Leroy, we do the Bankrupt Proof Your Biz Club on Clubhouse every Thursday at 8:30. And this week, we're talking about how to legally protect your business and how to be financially ready for retirement when it comes to your business. So you can reach me, just hit on LinkedIn, Diane Zimmerman JD, hit me, just put an Ultimate Biz and I'll pop up, and I'm Powerful Biz Woman on Instagram. So thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Leroy, I'm gonna ask you to plug your book, because Dr. Leroy has a leadership book. And I cannot, every week we're going to plug this, because I believe this is a tool that we all can utilize and grow in our professional development as a leader. Dr. Leroy, tell everybody about your book on leadership.
Sure. The title of the book is The Art of Leadership, Success Strategies for the 21st Century Leader. And what I did was talked about leadership from 5 different perspectives, which are the 5 pillars of the community, which are the family, government, education, business, and the church. And I give a clear definement of what leadership is, what it should look like, and hopefully an clear understanding of who we are as leaders and what we need to do in order to be able to prepare the next generation of leaders for leadership. And that's, that's my purpose right now. So that's the main thing about the book. And you can get that from my website, www.jnfenterprises.com. Also on Facebook, JNF Enterprises, or my personal page, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. I'm on Instagram with What's Up Baltimore Magazine, LinkedIn, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., and then also YouTube as well. You can check out the YouTube channel, which has just hopefully a number of pieces of digital content information that you can use that will assist you in being able to make you better. Because my goal, as everyone knows that's ever listened to me, my goal is to make you better by the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. And we do that by having and being a part of things like this podcast, having partnerships with individuals such as Diane Zimmerman and the Bank of People Biz, the Ultimate Biz Conference, just all of these great things that help and assist us to be able to make each other better. And I love what you say, Catherine, about the March Madness, about giving your every day an assignment. What are you doing on an everyday basis to make yourself better? It's not even about your competitors. It's not even about those in your industry. It's about how are you going to be better the day, how are you going to be better each day. And your only assignment is to be better than you were the day before. That's it. When we do that, we begin to see those results that Catherine talked about, and we're able to actually be who it is that we want to be and walk in our assignments as individuals. So back to you, Catherine.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for plugging your information and being co-host. Always a pleasure to tag team with you on Tuesday mornings. Ms. Danya, we would like to give you any final closing words of inspiration that you would like to share to those leaders that's watching and entrepreneurs that's going through their process of developing their business. Any final words you would like to share?
I just want to say, build that business dream team, and march into your business madness for March. Just build that business dream team, and don't be afraid to spend the money you need to legally and financially protect your business, because you want to create a sustainable, long business that will outlast you.
It's so key. It's so key. Listen, we appreciate you. We thank you for coming on and bringing words of wisdom. Jewels, I call it jewels also because it's tools that you dropped on today that we can implement in a very practical way to help build our business for long-term growth and sustainability. But for those that have tuned in this morning, we got another episode under our belt, and we thank everybody for tuning in today. Plug back in next Tuesday morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time for brand new show, brand new guest. Of course, we will be having our co-host, Dr. Leroy McKenzie, back with us once again. It's been a phenomenal day, and those that watch this show, I always say, we will see you at the top. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Take care.